Closed captioning for News 12 is brought to you by Kenneth Nugent. From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
This evening, we're learning about an incident at the Augusta Mall where the Richmond County Sheriff's Office says they responded to calls about shots fired this afternoon. However, deputies tell us no one fired any shots that they believe, but instead, someone may have brandished a gun. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office says they received calls about the incident just after 2 p.m. When we first talked to a representative for the agency, they told us deputies had just arrived and were working to figure out exactly what happened. They now believe a gun was pulled, but thankfully no one was shot. They say there were moments of chaos, though, as people fled for the parking lot. We've been spending the day talking to people on social media about their experiences. Here's what one witness had to say. Everyone was running and saying that they had a gun. I ran into one of the stores with others, and they put us in a stock room and locked the doors. We stayed there until the police arrived, and they told us it was safe to leave. I think I will be doing my shopping online from now on. Coming up at News 12 at 11 o'clock, our Maria Sellers is working on a full story about what witnesses describe happened at the mall tonight. We're also working to learn more from the Sheriff's Office and the Mall Property Management Company. We're also learning about two shootings overnight. The first shooting happened at the corner of 10th and Broad Streets downtown. Officials have identified the victim as 21-year-old Logan Ederle. The Richmond County coroner tells us he was shot at least once and was pronounced dead at the scene just before 3 o'clock this morning. The second shooting happened at 11th Avenue and Grand Boulevard near Carrie J. Mays Park. Officials say 19-year-old Jaquan Gunter, known as Quan, was pronounced dead at the scene just after 4 in the morning. Authorities say it's not clear if these shootings are connected. Family members of Quan Gunter say he was a good person and a great kid who had just graduated high school. His cousin tells us all he wanted to do was live life and make his family proud. Ederle's family declined to comment as they are mourning Logan's loss. Both Gunter and Ederle have been sent to the GBI lab for autopsy. Now we're taking a live look outside now, where we toss things over to First Alert meteorologist Anthony Carpino. Anthony. Thanks so much, Anthony. We're learning the identity of a motorcycle driver killed in a crash last night. The Aiken County coroner says 63-year-old Ronald Maxey from Waynesboro was killed in a crash on Atomic Road in Beach Island near Augusta Road. Officials say Maxey tried to exit onto Atomic Road when he crashed into a car traveling south. Authorities are still waiting on a toxicology report. Police outside of Atlanta say a man shot and killed his child's mother late last night before taking his own life and the life of his 1-year-old daughter. It all happened early this morning. The child was at the center of a Amber Alert sent out Saturday night. Authorities say the mother was found dead in a Covington home. Her mother was taken to the hospital with multiple gunshot wounds. The grandmother was able to identify the shooter as Darian Bennett. Jury selection in the trial of former Minneapolis officers J. Alexander Kong and Thao Tao start this week. This will be the third trial in the George Floyd case. Earlier this year, they were two of the three officers found guilty of depriving Floyd of his civil rights. That was in a federal case. This time, they'll be facing state charges. Last year, Derek Chauvin was convicted of state murder charges. Kong and Thao were two of the officers present at Floyd's death. Major breakthrough in the gun legislation on Capitol Hill. Today, Senate negotiators announced they've reached an agreement on new gun safety laws. Here's Cole Higgins with what we know so far.
A bipartisan group of senators announcing a much sought-after agreement on gun safety legislation.
There's still a lot of work to do. There's still a long way to go, but I'm really encouraged.
At this point, the deal is just a proposal and not yet written, but it does have the support of 10 Republican senators, signaling it could be strong enough to overcome the Senate filibuster. Republican Senator John Cornyn of Texas, who has signed on to the bipartisan framework, tweeting, "The tragedies in Uvalde and elsewhere cried out for action. I worked closely with my colleagues to find an agreement to protect our communities from violence while also protecting law-abiding Texans' right to bear arms." The proposal includes funding to incentivize states to pass red flag laws, allowing juvenile records to be searched during background checks for buyers under 21, strengthening the background check system, and increasing funding for school security. The outline does not include a renewal of the so-called assault weapons ban statement on the proposal, saying it does not do everything he thinks is needed, but includes, quote, important steps in the right direction, and saying in part, the sooner it comes to my desk, the sooner I can sign it, and the sooner we can use these measures to save lives.
It's moving in the right direction. We're glad that the Senate is finally awake about this.
I'm Cole Higgins reporting.
The announcement comes as the nation remembers the victims of the deadliest attack on the LGBTQ community in American history. This weekend marks the somber anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting in Orlando. Families, survivors, and first responders plan to gather and honor the 49 victims killed 6 years ago. A former FBI supervisor says after the 5th anniversary of a tragic event, the years after can sometimes feel even more difficult.
Oftentimes the 6th year is the hardest, believe it or not, and a lot of that is attributed to the fact that at the 5-year anniversary we kind of make a big deal and we go out of our way to make it really special because 5 years is kind of a landmark or a milestone, if you will. And then unfortunately people tend to drop off on the 6th year because the 5th year was such a big deal.
The Pulse nightclub shooting is the second deadliest mass shooting in U.S. history after the 2017 Las Vegas shooting. Over 30 people were arrested at a Pride event in Idaho this weekend, charged with conspiracy to commit a riot. Officers say they got a tip about a van full of people in matching clothing. After pulling them over in a traffic stop, they were able to make an arrest. In a press conference, the local sheriff says men associated with the group Patriot Front were carrying smokers, shields, and shin guards.
It's clear to us, based on the gear that the individuals had all with them, the stuff they had in the possession and the U-Haul with them, along with paperwork that was seized from them, that they came to riot downtown.
Authorities say the men came from several states across the U.S., and it's expected to take several days to fully book all of those suspects. Travelers entering the U.S. will no longer need to take a COVID test. The change went into effect this morning, officials ending the long-running travel restrictions from the pandemic. White House officials say the CDC made the decision based on current data. However, health officials plan to reassess in the next 90 days. South Carolina is looking to tackle dated infrastructure in schools. Officials say it comes with a hefty price tag, close to $1 billion. Rural schools are particularly burdened with old buildings needing repair. Lawmakers plan to take $100 million from the state budget and $40 million from pandemic relief money to try and take on the renovations and repairs.
A meal tax in some of our poorest county only brings in $20,000, and in our richest counties it brings in $2 million. So you can tell how difficult it is to build a school. We will go right up the list in those and looking at their top priority need. Now, this is not taking care of everything in those districts, but we are trying to help on their number one priority need in facilities.
Officials say schools who are in the largest state of disrepair will be prioritized to get improvements first.
We're going to be expecting some summer-like heat over the next couple of days. The warmest temperatures that we've seen in nearly 2 years, getting closer to 101 on Tuesday. And this isn't taking into account the humidity that's going to be out there. We'll break down the full forecast coming up next.
He's taking us back.
Check this out. This is Gabe. Just this morning he was baptized, and now he's set out to raise money for his church, one lemonade at a time. Gabe's mom tells us part of his proceeds will go to Abilene Baptist. He's only been at this for just a little bit, but so far he's raised close to $190. If you're interested in stopping by and getting a fresh drink for a good cause, Gabe's mom says you can probably catch him out on Marcella Avenue next Saturday. We of course want to wish Gabe good luck with his fundraising efforts, and Anthony, it was a pretty good day for a lemonade.
It's going to be a good day for a lemonade tonight, tomorrow, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I think he's going to have some good business over the next few days. Well, here's our temperatures right now, down for next weekend, 95 to 92. Celeste?
All right, thanks so much, Anthony. Interesting stuff there with those car temps. And something else drivers need to keep in mind, there are a couple of overnight lane closures happening this week on I-20 at the state line. The first is Monday night from 9 to 7 Tuesday morning. There will also be another lane closure from Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, so definitely be on the lookout for that. Coming up, a look ahead at tonight's 75th annual Tony Award ceremony, plus the Augusta native nominated for Best Performance in a Lead Role. That's coming up after a break.
Herschel. The Live by Camera Network is brought to you by Mountaineer Pest Services.
There's hope new efforts could help end the struggles so many parents have been going through to find baby formula. Millions of bottles of baby formula were shipped to the United States from Australia yesterday. The shipment includes 85,000 tins of formula arriving in Los Angeles. It's estimated to fill more than 2 million bottles. This is just part of what's being called Operation Baby Formula, which is working to end the months-long shortage. Formula isn't the only shortage we're facing, though. Tampons are now reportedly in short supply across the U.S., too. Some are reporting the feminine products have been hard to find, particularly the Tampax brand. Manufacturer Procter & Gamble acknowledges the shortage. Experts say empty shelves are likely due to the rising price of materials like cotton. And happening this week, Fort Gordon is celebrating the U.S. Army's 247th birthday with a post-wide run and cake-cutting ceremony. It's happening at Barton Field Tuesday, June 13th. The event starts bright and early at 5:30 in the morning. And the 75th annual Tony Awards will light up Radio City Music Hall tonight. It marks the first full Broadway season since the pandemic, honoring some extraordinary work in unpredictable circumstances. Leah Sheps spoke to some of the nominees ahead of their big night.
Mama's little baby likes shortcake bread. At 9 months pregnant, actress Kenita R. Miller danced up a storm 8 shows a week in For Colored Girls Who Have Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough. She's up for a Tony Award Sunday for Best Featured Actress in a Play.
My favorite line is like the last one that I get to say is, I found God in myself and I loved her. I loved her fiercely. To be a part of something that's kind of instilling this mantra in me, I'm like, I just hope that she's absorbing it as well.
Her daughter, Nova Pearl, arrived just days after Miller went on maternity leave from the show, which earned 7 nominations, including Best Revival of a Play. Pulling off this year's season with 34 eligible shows, including MJ the Musical and the internationally popular Six, was a feat after COVID forced the cancellation of countless performances.
Hello, dearies.
Tony nominee and Mrs. Doubtfire star Rob McClure had his show shut down 3 times during the pandemic.
It's not just a celebration of my work or even the work of my show, but the resilience of this community.
While it's stars like Hugh Jackman and Billy Crystal who are nominated, understudies who helped keep Broadway running this season will also be honored.
They will be seen, and they will be heard, and they will be celebrated.
Tony Awards show host Ariana DeBose returns to her roots among the Broadway community after winning an Oscar as Anita in West Side Story.
I don't necessarily feel pressure, but I feel like a tremendous sense of responsibility.
Sunday's show will feature performances from The Music Man and other Tony-nominated musicals, all of it a chance to celebrate the best of Broadway and reach audiences far beyond the footlights. Lee Sheps, CBS News, New York.
The show will also pay tribute to the late legendary composer Stephen Sondheim. You can catch the festivities starting tonight at 7 o'clock on Paramount Plus, followed by the Tony Awards right here on CBS at 8 o'clock. Augusta native Sutton Foster is nominated for a Tony Award tonight as well. Already a 2-time Tony winner, Foster is nominated for Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role for her portrayal of Marion Peru in The Music Man. In that, she starred alongside Hugh Jackman. And the Von Taylor Championship returns to North Augusta, and the Braves add on to the streak against the Pirates. Alyssa Lyons has your sports coming up next.
992, because Americans can't afford more price hikes. Sponsored by CCIA.
On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hog Law Group.
Well, it's already been a big weekend for golf, both overseas and right here in the CSRA. Over 50 boys and 16 girls teed off for the qualifying round of the annual Von Taylor Championship at Mountain Vintage Golf Club in North Augusta. Out of the 53 field for the boys, only 6 qualify for the Junior Am. The girls have a tighter stretch as 16 girls compete for the final 3 spots. The qualifying round was not short of any local talent. Evans Walker Grant fired off a 78. Augusta's Brady Bentley, John Taylor both made their mark, while Nichols Parrish finished in the top 25 in his first junior AM event. He's no stranger to the course, having played at Mountain Vintage before, but being surrounded by golfers from all over the country really upped the ante.
A lot more competitive, a lot more pressure, but I enjoyed it and definitely do it again. The elevation changes and how the greens were very sloped, that was very tough. Just work on my swing, work on mental game, and keep playing.
The opening round of the Von Taylor Championship will be on Tuesday. Split tees begin at 8 a.m. To Truist Park, where the defending world champs are looking like their former selves, having trimmed 5 games off the NL leading Mets. William Contreras gets a piece to start him off, and Duvall goes to the wall for back-to-back solos. One just isn't enough, though. Duvall puts on a show and goes for 2 in the bottom of the 4th to bring in Contreras. Pirates get a little fight in them in the 5th to make it a 1-run game. They push the Braves scoreless into the 8th until Olsen puts the topper on the cake to make it 22 homers and 11 straight wins. Well, just before we go, check this out. How about a game in the middle of a game? During the Rockies-Padres game at Petco, former teammates Joe Musgrave and Chad Poole played a little tic-tac-toe on the mound. Each inning they made their move. It ended in a tie, but Musgrave got the win in the real game. All right, I gotta ask, are you more of an X's person or an O's person in tic-tac-toe?
I gotta go with the X, Alyssa, and then you always gotta make sure you get the center piece. If you get the center, then you kind of can have control of the game there. So yeah, go for the X and then go for the center as well. So if you're gonna be playing in tic-tac-toe outside, make sure you're doing it by the pool over the next couple of days, because it is going to be toasty. 99 degrees tomorrow afternoon, and we are sticking to the low 100s for Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday we do have a greater chance for a few more scattered showers and storms, and we're going to keep with those warmer temperatures for Thursday and Friday. 98 to 97 degrees there, and our heat index, so when you factor all that humidity in, is going to be over 100 starting tomorrow all the way through Friday. 103 to 107 between Monday and Tuesday, and some areas, if you stay a little bit drier on Wednesday, could see heat index values closer to 110. And of course, make sure you're not leaving anyone in the back seat of your car. With temperatures at 100 degrees, after 20 minutes, the inside of your car is going to be at 129 degrees. So again, make sure you're not leaving anyone in the back seat. Going to be a hot one over the next few days, and we're going to keep it on the chance for a few more scattered showers and storms.
Alrighty, thank you so much for joining us. Alyssa, Anthony, and I are back at 11 o'clock. We can't wait to see you then. Bye-bye.